Airmax Day is upon us, but what does Adidas and an ex-NASA aerospace engineer have to do with these guys right here? Let's talk about it. What's going on, YouTube? It's Lewis of the Wear Your Kicks channel. If this is the first time you've seen one of my videos, welcome. But if it is not the first time you've seen one of my videos, make sure you click on that subscriber button. Click the notification bell so you can find out every time I drop one of these videos. Also, don't forget we have hit our 50 subscriber milestone. Make sure you go into the description of this video, click on the SurveyMonkey link, and put in your information so you have a chance at winning the $50 giveaway we're doing for the 50 subscriber milestone we hit. Now, tomorrow, as we know it, is Airmax Day. Now, Airmax Day has been getting talked about since the first inception of it, which was March 26, 2014. But do we know why we celebrate Airmax Day on that day? Well, it is because it is the debut of the Airmax 1, which we know tomorrow is being the Airmax 1 Big Bubble that's getting released. But the history goes back a little further than that, guys. And I think we need to understand where this all came from. 1977 ended up being a pivotal year for Nike. And the reason why is because Adidas said no. Now, what did Adidas say no to? Well, it is the air unit technology that we know of today. This idea was originally pitched to them by Marion Franklin Rudy and Bob Bogert. Now, Marion Franklin Rudy is an ex-NASA aerospace engineer, and Bob Bogert was a scientist and philanthropist who met each other at a company called Howard Head. Well, Franklin had this idea that you could inject air, or gases rather, which is what it really was, into a clear cartridge and add that to a shoe, which would reduce impact and add comfortability, especially to running shoes. So after getting denied by Adidas, they also went and pitched the same idea to Nike and Phil Knight. And Phil Knight was kind of skeptical at first, but once they told him that Adidas said no to it, he actually jumped on board, went and did a 6-mile test run in the shoes and gave them an emphatic yes to adding that technology, which is where we first got the Nike Air Tailwind. Now, the Nike Air Tailwind was the first of its kind, and it made its actual first debut during the 1978 Honolulu Marathon. It was the first time that an airsole had been put inside of a sneaker. Now, to everyone's surprise, when it was debuted, it actually sold out, and it really surprised everyone because there were 23 other shoe manufacturers, including Adidas, that thought that you could not add this technology into a sneaker. But this is another reason why Nike has actually become the #1 shoe brand in the world, because of innovations and forward thinking much like this. Now, back in the 70s, Nike was not the brand that we know it today. They were still up and coming, and they needed some new innovative ways in order to compete with the Converse, with Adidas, and some of those other companies that were ahead of them. Well, Nike decided to think outside the box again, and they brought in an actual interior designer named Tinker Hatfield. Now, if you've heard of that name before, it's because of this shoe right here. Tinker Hatfield created the Jordan 3 white cement that we know today actually helped save Jordan brand and Nike being in partnership. But we're not talking about a Jordan sneaker right now. We're talking about what did Tinker Hatfield mean to Airmax Day? Well, Tinker Hatfield had an idea after visiting what was called the Centre Pompidou. I probably butchered the crap out of that name, I'm sorry. But it was a structure in Paris, France that he had saw during a trip back in 1970. Well, that structure actually inspired him to give this idea to the designers of the Airmax sneaker that we know today. He decided that we should probably show the actual air that the sneaker has, which is why today we have the visible air unit, much like I showed you earlier in the beginning of this video, with like the 270, 2017, and the Air Max 90s. Now, the original prototype was the Air Max Zero, but that drawing actually inspired what we know today as being the Air Max 1 Big Bubble. And that debuted on March 26, 1978. Now, that big bubble feature was only short-lived due to the fact that it would crack under intense pressure and cold air would actually cause it to burst. So what Nike did is they started to make it smaller to avoid having those issues. Now, since then, we've had some notable Airmax lines like the 95, the 97, the Airmax 270s, just to name a couple. Also, the Griffey sneaker was actually a Airmax line as well. Now, the 26th of March is not only a special day in the Nike calendar for Airmax Day, but it's also the anniversary of when they featured the Revolution commercial, which included Michael Jordan, and they featured the Air Max 1 sneaker. Now, I probably shouldn't be playing the music for that commercial, but I'm not monetized, so it's only going to be flagged in so many areas anyway. Now, tomorrow we will be seeing the release of the Nike Air Max 1 Big Bubble on the sneakers app as well as neighborhood stores. I'll put the listings here so you guys can see them. Pause the video if you need to take a look. But also, the Nike Air Max Pulse is actually making its debut. It's a brand new silhouette. It's releasing on the Nike app, Finish Line, and JD Sports at a retail price point of $150. Now, the sneaker itself features a new point-loaded cushioning system with a plastic clip that distributes weight to targeted points across the air unit, delivering a unique experience full of bounce. The product details include a textile in the upper, leather and synthetic overlays, foam midsole, rubber waffle outsole design. Now that outsole is actually pretty old school in the fact that that's how Nike actually made the outsole to their first running shoe. They designed it using the molds from a waffle iron and they put it on the bottom of the shoe to go running in. Now, if you've never heard of an athlete named Steve Prefontaine, I suggest you go and look him up. He actually was Nike's first signature athlete while running at the University of Oregon. And he wore one of the first sneakers to feature that waffle iron bottom design. Now, there was a movie based on his life as well, because unfortunately, he was someone that died way too early. But I don't want to spoil too much information. I suggest you go read it and check him out. So guys, there you have it. There's a brief history on the Air Max 1 and why we celebrate Air Max Day. I think it's a special day in the sneaker calendar, especially the Nike calendar, for those of you out there who love the Nike line and appreciate the Air Max line as well. This is definitely a special day. Now, there will also be releases of some other Air Max sneakers, which have actually been happening all this month. So keep being on the lookout for what could drop that day as well. Now, tomorrow I'm going to look to go live for the drop of the Air Max 1 Big Bubble on the sneakers app. The draw is at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And, you know, go ahead and join with me and rock out with your boy, and let's see who can cop. In any case, guys, I'm signing off now and reminding you that today is always a great day to wear your kicks.